Hey guys, welcome back to the Kobi Zac audio experience. We just jumped on and we're going to do a quick Zac versus Kobi interview. This is one of our weekly catch-ups that we do with everybody to give them some help. Zac's going to ask me some questions. What we try to do here at Best Practice is just document what we're doing. So we thought it'd be a good opportunity. Zac's going to ask me some questions. Anything he's not comfortable, we'll delete. You guys won't hear it on the podcast. So I hope you're all enjoying the episodes. We're doing a random variety of topics at the moment, looking at what you guys are asking for on LinkedIn, looking at what you guys are asking for on YouTube, and trying to cover off those topics as we evolve bestpractice.biz into the future. The Best Practice Talent business is going really well. The Next Practice business, coaching business, is going really well. The clients doing Next Practice business coaching programs and workshops are having a great time, and we're getting lots of great feedback. And so in this episode of the Kobi Zac audio experience, Zac and I are just going to record our weekly catch-up. And maybe if you're somebody who's a recent graduate, or you know someone who's a recent graduate, we've got some interns in the studio this morning with us as well. We're going to be just talking about some random topics. So Zac's going to hit me with some questions, and hopefully I'm going to add some value to his life.
Always do.
Okay, what do you got? You got some preloaded?
Yeah, look, I've got a few preloaded. Something sort of just popped up and I had in my mind, but when you mentioned it about 5 minutes ago, was on the weekend I did probably one of my first ever psychometric tests, because I haven't actually done one with you guys yet, but I did one with Optus. So I did that on Sunday. That was for a graduate role or something like that. But yeah, so that was some sort of an experience that was very, very real, like, you hear about it and all that kind of thing, but being put in the moment of it, I think a lot more intensity and a lot more pressure over it. Like, there was obviously, some video recorded questions that you'd answer, but the kind of games and all that they put in front of you and all that kind of thing, just to sort of test your mind, test your quickness and all that kind of thing. Yeah, like...
Interesting.
I haven't felt that much pressure in that regard for a while. So. And
so let's just explore that pressure, because we just had a question about being nervous and how you can use nerves to your advantage. We talked about, if you are feeling nervous going for a role or doing a test or going for an interview or first day at job, ask yourself the question, why you feel nervous. We just unpacked the fact that it's probably because you genuinely care, you want to do a great job, you want to make a good impression, and that's okay. We talked about one of the tactics, if you are feeling nervous, is actually set yourself up for a good day. So, if you can anticipate you're going to be nervous because it is a first day, go to bed at the right time the day before, go through your morning routine. I was just talking about the fact that I've got a big day today, so I made sure I went for a walk this morning. I made sure I put a bit of effort into that walk, so I walked to the biggest hill in my suburb, took the dog, and picked a coffee up down at the beach, watched the sunrise back home just after the sunrise. So setting yourself up for a good day and setting yourself up for those psychometric tests, I think, is a good thing. Don't do it between, trying to get home from uni and get to football training and go and do the grocery shopping. That's not the time to do it. It's about sitting down and setting yourself up properly, because that's how you're going to be working. So tell me about have you had any feedback yet?
I reckon I got an email from them pretty relatively quickly regarding insights and your insights are available, that kind of thing. But I think I think they're pretty broad in terms of what they give you back. Like, it's not very specific, like, you were quick or whatever in this regard. And they give you some sort of characteristics, like, you're a quick thinker based on all that kind of thing. But I haven't actually, like, obviously that's developed from a machine, the machine telling you that this is what we can gather. I haven't had any feedback yet from
a person. Okay. So one of my comments I was just making earlier is that the PXT select testing that we do here at Best Practice, we use it for two purposes. One is for recruitment, which is your case study, and that was good that you went through that test to see something else in the market. So the assessments here we're doing as part of the recruitment process. Typically we'll do it between the first and second interview with candidates for roles that we're recruiting for with Best Practice Talent, or even internally. So we started using it internally here at Best Practice. How we use it now, it can print out about 40 different reports, basically taking an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of survey data from you answering questions. The questions get harder if you're super smart. It makes the questions harder because it works out where it can break you. not metaphorically. It's like, where is the limit of this person in terms of their numerical ability, their language ability, how expansive is their vocabulary. It's testing vocabulary. And so it's, if you think about the role being for a journalist, you want to have a wide vocabulary. So it's testing for that, because then it's got 200 pre-programmed job descriptions that go into it. It's by far, from what I've seen, the best product on the planet right now. So how we use it here at Best Practice is we're looking at, do we restructure and repurpose people within the business, and so we can run someone against different job descriptions. So after the testing is done, it's valid for 2 years, and then you can go through that process and you say, right, well, we're going to run everybody through it. So we've run everybody here at Best Practice through the PXT test. I can pull that report and I can say, actually, I wonder if that person could do a sales role. Could they do a finance role? Could they do a technical role? Could they do a marketing role? And the system will actually give me a percentage fit for that role based on the characteristics. The next report that I can pull is their mentoring and coaching plan. And so for when people start, and we put them through PXT, and then I can say, okay, off we go now, and I can get the most out of that person. Because the system's not subjective. So I hear that you're waiting for a person to give you the feedback, but what if that person's poor quality who's giving you the feedback? We can't make the assumption that that person is, the machine is mechanical, and it's always the same. But people, based on if they didn't set themselves up properly for the morning, and they didn't have their morning routine, and they're not generally motivated, and they like it or they don't like it, the feedback from the person is going to be really, this is what I see from my context, from my angle. Like, I'm sitting over here on this angle and I see the side of Zac's face. But Luke's on that side and he sees the other side of Zac's face. And so the feedback from a person is great, pay attention to this, and it's from experience. But the computer, so I think it's not one or the other, it's a combination. So what we do is we say, computer says, here's an area to explore, then we can explore it, if that makes sense. Instead of what the person wants to talk about, the system says, talk about this. And so we take a non-subjective approach and turn it to a subjective response to a non-subjective approach, if that makes sense. Very philosophical for a Thursday morning. So that's really good. My recommendation to you guys that are going through interviews and going through psychometric tests, if you are going for roles out there, or either A, you're hiring, make sure you use psychometric testing in your recruitment process. I don't want to hear you complain to me that you can't find good people and it's really hard to find good people. Plenty of good people out there. Poor quality recruitment procedures equals poor quality people. Good quality recruitment procedures equals good quality people. Good quality people, easy to find. So you just got to make sure you got a winning formula, set up your winning formula, follow it. You can get a free document off the bestpractice.biz website. You can go to bestpractice.biz/guides, and the amazing winning formula for recruitment guide that everybody here in the team, in the studio, and everyone smiling has been working on is a fantastic recommendation. It's free, it's the formula. Grab your copy of it, and you can actually click the button at the top right of the screen to make it editable. You can rip off our brand, you can paste on your brand, and it's a free template for your recruitment procedure. So go grab a copy of that. What else is on your mind, Zac?
Yeah. Certainly with that pressure kind of aspect.
Yes.
Having not done one of those psychometric tests before, under pressure, because you're exploring new things, how do you put yourself best in the situation to deal with pressure inside an organisation?
Yeah.
In the daily, routine kind of thing, because I know historically I've been told by people to
keep going.
I haven't actually read that.
Yeah.
Historically I've had advice on, time yourself to do certain things, see how you go with that. Historically that hasn't worked for me because I've just got too many distractions and too much things going on in my head. Mm-hmm. What's your advice to best put yourself, as someone that hasn't been inside an organisation, in perhaps like a corporate world, how to put yourself best in that position so that you're ready for that? Put
yourself in the position. So that's my advice, is the best place. I get it, I hear what you're saying. So you've done the right thing. So you did an internship here at Best Practice. Yeah. Unfortunately, you walked straight into the honeypot. So there's a lot of those big corporate organisations. They're not going to have the culture that we've got here. They're going to have a fairly rigid culture, a fairly uncontrolled toxic culture, and there's going to be isolated situations that it's a very generic statement, but people have this. They put big corporate up on a pedestal, and big corporate's getting better, but they have more rules and constraints. Very rigid, at that upper level. So you're going to have hot spots where you've got good leaders and bad leaders through those organisations, but it's more likely that big corporate is just going to be vanilla. in terms of its culture.
Before as well.
Yeah.
I've heard that back when I did a short internship with AI Australia, something that they told me about the big companies like Deloitte and that kind of thing is that they sort of
it's vanilla. It's vanilla. Yeah.
Bombard you with all this stuff and just do.
Correct.
What I mean? Like
that's exactly right. Yeah, it's exactly right. You get lost, and it's like going and swimming in a really big ocean. It's really easy to get lost. So going to a really big beach with thousands of people, if you sort of zoom out, everyone looks the same. So, so I think your question was, how do you deal with the culture? How do you set yourself up for it? The best thing you can do is get practice. I took the kids last night at soccer training for Big Boot Central. So we're trying to, teach 9-year-olds to kick further in soccer training, and the kids were, and I was teaching them a very specific way to kick straight, which is run at the ball straight, use the top of their shoelaces, and kick straight, not a sweeping kick. What angle do they come at? If you're doing a sweeping kick with the little kids, they're running at the ball on like a 45-degree angle and then trying to kick it straight down the pitch. I'm like, no, run straight, kick straight, ball straight. And so the kids are complaining to me, it's uncomfortable, I can't kick like this, I don't like this, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. So, but after half an hour of training, we did, we divided the whole soccer team into 3 groups, and after half an hour of training, I had all the kids kicking at about the same distance, all straight, all accurate, all the same every time. And so my point here is practice. Like the first time you try something, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's the right thing to do, it's the right direction to be going, but you're going to be under pressure, you're going to feel pressure the first time you do it, and then after a period of time, you're going to get to a point where you fucking enjoy it. And so, like, I'm in my happy place right now. Like, a lot of people, like, get in front of a camera, like, they freak out. And I was like, no, I'm happy. So, we're here doing a podcast. Some of our videos get 10s, 20s, 30,000 views. I'm in my happy place right now. But the first time I did it, I was probably nervous. I probably wasn't because I'm the class clown, but it's what's going to happen over time. It's like surfing, right? You're going, like, you're a bit nervous, you're a bit tentative, you don't know what you're doing, you're fumbling, that kind of stuff. Kids, toddlers, when they're learning to walk, they're uncomfortable, they're going to fall down a few times. But with practice, you get better. And that's what we say here at Best Practice. We say perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're feeling the pressure, you can actually deconstruct that pressure. So an internship is a great way, which is what we do here. It's a great way to actually come in and just be an observer. And so there's no expectations. There's no money exchanging, and there's no testing, and there's no worry. And yes, we have a filter, so we only let the best interns in here of the hundreds of applications that we get. But we're looking for people to put an effort in. They put an effort into their application. They're interested. They're showing curiosity. And so then we're like, great. These are the kinds of people that we want to be bringing into the team and blending with our culture, because the intern program, for example, has an impact. So for you to depressurize the situation, you might be willing to consider another short internship, which is some voluntary work experience to go in and get a feel for the organisation, so then you're not feeling the pressure. Because at the moment, a role got posted, you applied for it, you're like, fuck, maybe I could get a job, and then now you're going for the thing, and you're like, fuck, I'm getting tested, excuse my language, for those people who don't like swearing, Luke can blip that, and so you can go through the process, and so now you're like invested in it, and you're curious about it. You're like, I really want to get it. And actually, I'm under that. So you're putting yourself under that pressure. But the reality is, you're doing work here at Best Practice. So the question is for you, and I don't have a problem with this, but you're going, right, do I want to go get experience over there, or is it just an income? Or what is the program? Graduate program, for example, at Optus. And so when you're actually looking at that, so you think about what your goal is. Now, if your goal is, I want that job at Optus, you need to make the decision. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. Then you won't be nervous and you won't be under pressure, because you're not going to give up. And and this is the one thing that a lot of people get really nervous about, and the fear of like what if I fail? You only fail, and it's cliche. It's all over our Instagram. We've done quote cards for it. I'm going to say it. And somebody actually reached out to me and they said, talk more about your quote cards. One of our quote cards that's gone out on our socials over the last couple of weeks is, you only fail if you stop, or you only fail if you give up. And that's the truth. If your goal is to work at Optus, then you're just going to keep coming back. You're going to try to walk, trip over, fall over. You're going to keep practicing until you get it. So stop worrying about it. Like, I'm going to get it. It's a done deal. It's just a question of when. And then you're like, oh, all right, well, if it's a question of when, I'm happy. Then what we talk about is patience is a virtue. Then you just got to be patient. Because at the right time, with the right criteria, when you've ticked all the boxes and you've met all the criteria and you've found out what you need to learn, and you go and learn it, and you can learn how to demonstrate it, It's one thing to learn it, it's another to be good at demonstrating what you've learned and what you can do. You'll get it. If you don't give up, you won't fail. So you're just like again and again. And so lots of my friends, older friends, applying for the fire brigade, for example. They take an intake, they go, they fail the test, they miss out, they train really hard, they eat properly, they sleep properly, they do all the tests, they practice the tests, they go back and have a year later, they have another try. They miss out, they go back, they train harder to meet the criteria, and then they get in.
I suppose that's the same with, I've heard you before talk about hitting up LinkedIn managers, that kind of thing, which I have done previously.
100%.
Not consistently enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe in the past month, 2 months, I've sort of done that kind of connecting messaging, just kind of that idea, and I've been seen by all 5 or
there you go,
or whatever.
Perfect.
But I suppose it's
a numbers game.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I've been saying a lot. You guys here in the studio have a listen to this. You guys on the podcast and watching the videos, have a listen to this. I don't want you guys sitting back waiting for jobs to be advertised. I want you to go out and get the job at the company that you want. And it's a numbers game. So I go get the customers that I want. And I don't give up until I get that customer. When I started the business, I would write them on a whiteboard. I'd basically get an inquiry, or I'd make an inquiry and I would write them on a whiteboard, and I wouldn't wipe them off the whiteboard until they were a client. And so I own my destiny, and that is the thing that otherwise we're reacting. It was like, I don't know when they're going to post a job, so I'm going to sit around here and twiddle my thumbs, maybe do a bit of reading, go to the beach, maybe go to the movies, hang out with friends until a job ad comes up. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to check each day what's advertised. How about actually going and demonstrating value and helping a company to grow? Because sometimes the good companies to work for just haven't got time. The ones that are growing haven't got time to post the ad. It's a very rigid process. Once the ad's posted, then everyone's like pile in. They're like seagulls on a chip, So it's like, if you're a seagull and you wanted a hot chip, are you going to wait till someone throws one, or are you going to go and steal it out of the pot? Make sense?
Yeah.
Here in Australia, for you guys who know Australians, we have the bird called a kookaburra. The kookaburra doesn't wait around for someone to throw me a chip and all the flock of seagulls gets on the kookaburra sweeps down and grabs the sausage off the hot barbecue, goes straight down onto the barbecue and grabs the steak, grabs what it wants. And so, if you're a seagull, you can be like all the other seagulls and stand around there waiting for someone to throw you a chip, or you can actually swoop down and grab the chip out of the packet. So it's about then working out, where can I steal a chip from? And so what I've said before is about, don't you love my analogies? I think I'm on fire today. So what we want to talk about today,
the book of your analogies.
Kobi's analogies.
Yeah.
So how we can actually use LinkedIn is we can get on LinkedIn. The search filters. So it's about doing a search on LinkedIn, learning what the filters are. The filters are geographic, company, people, skills, content, groups, so that if and when a role comes up, they're like, I already know somebody. I don't need to advertise on Seek. I don't want the seagulls. No one eating chips likes seagulls, right? They just want to say, actually, I've got a pet. I've already trained my pet. I'm going to throw the chip to my pet. It's Zac, right? Zac's already there waiting. He's been eager. He's already demonstrated. Now's the right time. I've already got somebody. I'm in emergency. My marketing person just quit. Zac's there. Call Zac.
Thanks, bro.
Cool. All right. So that's been the Kobi Zac audio experience. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got specific topics that you want to talk about, I hope this has been valuable for you, Zac. I hope anyone listening got some value out of the conversation. If you want to hear more of these kinds of things, let me know. Send me a direct message on LinkedIn. We are trying to do more videos for YouTube. We've got more coming down the barrel. I've got some ideas for when and where we can shoot them, because it's quiet here in the office on Fridays. So we're going to try and get some more content out for you guys. And more live streams on LinkedIn, more live streams on YouTube. And if you don't see me out and about because everybody's in COVID lockdown, you'll definitely see me next time right here on Best Practice TV. Bye for now. Thanks, brother. Boom.